The NFL window to win. It's a new term. Just steal it from me. Go ahead, because I think it's legit. I think it's real, and I think it applies. Give me a chance here. The NFL window to win is right now on full display. Right? My weird wardism of this window to win is playing out in the state of Texas in the most obvious way. I think it's pretty fascinating to watch. I think it's interesting to watch. I think I can make sense of it enough that you might even find it interesting to watch. It's on the window to win is on full display with your Dallas Cowboys and your Houston Texans. Watching these two organizations, and, once a week now I find myself saying, I cannot believe the Houston Texans are interesting. Thankfully, the Houston Texans are interesting. But they are interesting. Now, the Cowboys are always interesting. They're always drama. The Texans are interesting, and I can make them even more interesting. A member of the Jones family just gave you an answer as to how the NFL is built, how an organization to succeed in the NFL, how complicated it can be. I mean, he just pretty much read everything I've tried to tell people and screamed it out loud. Now you're going to see, and I can use these two organizations as the perfect guinea pigs. Now you can see why I say over and over again, you've got a 3-year window, whoever you are. Then it slams shut. I mean, you want to extend it a year, go ahead, but I'm not far off. And then that window slams shut. And one of the Jones men is screaming about it. So to succeed in the NFL, I'm just talking about how you construct a team. And you fantasy nerds may even appreciate this. But to succeed in the NFL, you have to have a few things. I would say that they're building blocks. And you just look at any organization and just start to check them off and say, hey, okay, look, maybe I'll listen to this ward guy. I'm going to see if this team has these building blocks that he's talking about. Okay, so you have to have these things. One, you have to build a good roster. It can't be 3 stars and a bunch of dudes that suck. It can't. It has to be very good to great players at the following positions: quarterback, receiver, rush end, tackle, cornerback. You don't have to be great at all of them. Listen to this. You can't be terrible at any of them. Those are the building blocks. Now you have to ask yourself, well, does my team's front office, does the Texans front office do that? Does the Cowboys front office do that? Do they pull this off? Okay, you have to have a smart front office. That's who puts together these building blocks. You can't do anything without them. You have to have a coach with an eye for talent and one that can make smart in-game decisions. Don't do stupid stuff. Stupid stuff defined as a head coach would be not managing the clock. It would be not managing going for it on 4th down. There are in-game critical decisions a head coach makes that make or break you. Oftentimes, they make or break you. That doesn't happen every single week, but you lose enough of those, it makes or breaks you. It's not about this coach at halftime doing something. It's not about this coach designing something, the Tuesday before. I'm saying that outside of these positions, the head coach has to be smart enough, reasonable enough to make smart in-game decisions. Then your team has to be healthy, and that's pure luck. Sometimes it just goes wrong. The Cowboys were incredibly lucky last year. Sooner or later, it runs out. Okay, that is a setup. This is going to sound a little over the top, but give it a chance. The Houston Texans, and I know it's their terrible talk show material because most people don't care. But listen to this and see if you agree with me at all. The Houston Texans might be the San Francisco 49ers 2.0. Okay? Give me a chance to make this case. Remember what I said. How are you built? How is your roster built? Do you have those bricks that I just said, the positions I just said? Do you have those things? You have to build that way. The Texans might be the 49ers 2.0. I think the Texans think They're the San Francisco 49ers 2.0. I don't think anything they're doing right now is an accident. I don't think it's an accident that their head coach comes from San Francisco. I don't think the things they're doing is an accident at all. I think it's intentional. The goal is to be the 49ers 2.0. And you know what? I think they might be the San Francisco 49ers 2.0 because the elements are there. The structure of it, right? I hate to nerd out and talk business terms, but that's the only thing I know how to relate it practically anything to. And that is a good model, right? I mean, a good business model always has to be tinkered with, but it doesn't work. You don't succeed by accident. You don't typically succeed with pure luck. It's the model itself, the construct of the business. Same applies to how you build football teams, particularly in the NFL. What's different about the NFL is you have a 3-year window. Maybe 4 at best, but you got a 3-year window. So the Texans, I think, are the 49ers 2.0 because the elements are there. Watch this. What do we talk about what the 49ers are able to do? They have a really good quarterback who's cheap. When the quarterback is cheap, you can spend elsewhere. A lot of teams are just the opposite. Quarterback's expensive, you can't spend elsewhere. What a luxury to have a great quarterback that's not expensive. The most expensive part of your business model in that business is typically the quarterback. What if the quarterback is really good and cheap? And think of all the great things you can do. Think of how you can build your roster. Wait, that's exactly what the 49ers have. It's exactly what these Texans have. In fact, the Texans have a better one. A star quarterback under a rookie contract. It all starts there. Okay? I mean, if you want to win big, if you want to win consistently during that window, then you have to be very, very good to great at quarterback. Okay? You really have a chance to be great if he's cheap. Cheap by NFL standards. Well, guess what? That means the money goes elsewhere. Very, very few teams have it. In fact, I could argue that I know of only 2 teams have it. Only 2 teams have this incredible setup of a really, really good to great quarterback. The Texans have a great one. The 49ers have a really good one. Either way, their problem at quarterback is solved, and it's cheap. Money goes elsewhere. Guess what the Texans have? They got a quarterback under a rookie contract. That's cheap. Just like the 49ers have a quarterback under a rookie contract. That's cheap. That makes everything easier. Only 2 teams that I know of have that. And they're just like each other. They're just like each other. So the Texans and 49ers have this by luck or by genius. Either way, they have something no one else has. So the Texans have a better quarterback than the 49ers, and by NFL standards, he's cheap. And going to be cheap for, guess what? 3 more years. What a shock, huh? Those windows. So this gives them both a chance. Now, it's going to change for the 49ers soon, and when that quarterback is no longer cheap, the window slams shut. So the Texans have built themselves, I would argue, just like the 49ers. They got the quarterback thing right. I just talked about that. They have a great offensive tackle. Don't laugh. I know people only care about the ball and only care about watching quarterbacks. That dude doesn't survive without a tackle. The Texans have a great tackle. The Texans have a receiver at tight end who is really, really good. Maybe not yet great. I think about to be great, just like the 49ers. They have a really, really good quarterback's best friend. Not Christian McCaffrey like the 49ers, but a really, really good running back in Joe Mixon. That's a quarterback's best friend. They went out, the Texans, and got themselves a Pro Bowl receivers. Remember those blocks I was just telling you about? Look at them. Check all those blocks off. They had the exact same things. They went out and got a Pro Bowl receiver. They have the rookie defensive player of the year. At what position? What position did I say earlier? Rush end. I got a smart coach. Guess what? He comes from the 49ers. All the elements are there. They're built and building themselves exactly the same way. The window is 3 years. So laugh at me when I say this, but can the Texans be the 49ers of the AFC? I'm telling you, the elements are there. I mean, they may choke, they may hit bad luck, stuff may happen, but they are building themselves just like it, and they stumbled into that gold mine at quarterback. Who's cheap? Can they Texans be the AFC version of the 49ers? Just think about it. I know it's nerdy and blah, 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 but think about that. So the window for the Texans it's the best. It's wide open right now. They've got this incredible window. It's a giant one of windows, like the kind you roll open. I mean, it's a big window. The Cowboys' window is slamming shut. Like it's just coming down fast. And it's not all their fault. It happens. It's just the structure of the business. That's what makes it entertaining. So the Jones men who run the Cowboys, I think, know, and I think what was just said, they know the window is slamming shut on the Cowboys. It's not shut going into August and September, but it's going to slam shut soon. You know why? Because they don't have the things the Texans and the 49ers have. And that is a really good to great quarterback who's cheap. They don't have the building blocks, and they're not going to be able to keep them. You don't have those building blocks, you lose. You're on borrowed time. I think this is pretty interesting because I think it helps you appreciate why these teams are doing what they're doing and how, it makes the whole thing more interesting. Can you fix it? Can you scramble? Can you tinker? It lets you know what these teams are doing or not doing in the case of the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have a window still. I think we're actually got a chance to watch two teams for the first time ever that are really good. Both the Texans and the Cowboys. They should be. Then the Cowboys window slams shut. It's shut and it's locked. It's got some bars on it even. It's over. It's over. Because you just can't manage it. The Texans have a couple more. And then when their quarterback gets expensive, then their window's going to slam shut. So Dak Prescott right now has the Cowboys, the entire franchise, by the ears. Yeah, we'll go with that. Ears. Yeah. So here's the story, and this is why I was thinking, man, this tells you everything about these two franchises that I think is fascinating. Right? Everything is about building models. According to the Players Association website, this is from ESPN, the Cowboys have $7.4 million in salary space. That's not a whole lot in football terms. Stephen Jones he's irritated. He's frustrated. I feel like this is a guy. He's not dumb. I know him. He's not dumb. He knows these numbers. He knows the window is slamming shut. It's almost nothing you can do about it, except win when you can. That's what has to be driving them crazy. That's what should drive fans crazy. If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm going to give you really bad news. You have to win when you have a chance, when the window is open, because it'll slam on you at the end of 3 to 4 years. You're done. This is it. It was it last year. It's it this year. It was really it last year because you were healthy. I think that's what's irritating them, and I think for good reason. They're going to look at this and go, oh my gosh, it's over. The window was open. We had what we thought, and we didn't do it. In fact, we got rolled at home during the playoffs. This is for the Texans. You bet you got 3 years to make it happen. You have 3 years to win big. That's it. Then it'll slam shut. Quarterback wants to get paid, you're done. You're done. Okay, this is Stephen Jones. When we're all said and done, we max out our salary cap every year. We've done that, and what comes with having a good roster, which we do, we are also looking towards signing our own guys. It doesn't mean it happens overnight. But when you're wanting to sign players like Dak and Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, then certainly you have to hold money back if you want to have a realistic chance of signing those guys. He's not wrong in anything he's saying. He's not wrong at all. There's a finite amount of money to go and spend, and if you want to keep your stars, then you're going to run out of money, and the rest of your roster is going to suck. That's the way it works. Dak Prescott is set to become an unrestricted free agent after this season. He has them by the ears. I mean, they pay him, they're probably not going to be very good. They let him go, they're not going to be very good. In fact, they'll be worse. Either case, they're not going to be very good. Which one do you choose? CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, by the way, have not attended the first 2 days of the Cowboys' voluntary offseason program. I don't know what to read into that. Doesn't really matter. I do think what is interesting is Dak Prescott shows up. This is why he's the employee of the year every year. If the Cowboys have those signs on, the pictures up, like the headshot, I bet Dak Prescott wins Employee of the Month almost every month. But I think he should leave after this year. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at is I think they know, and what he's saying is right. I mean, you're not going to care. Fans don't care. Stephen Jones is right. We're trying. What are we going to do, man? We can't let these guys go, and if we let them go, we suck. We spend our money on them. Oh, no, we're going to suck. Maybe suck less. They're going in opposite directions. Cowboys window, I think you have one season. Probably should have done it last year. You didn't, but you might get another chance this year. We'll see. The Texans have 2 to 3 more. The window is wide open. That's why the Texans, I think in a 49ers-like way, I think that's why the Texans went out and signed veteran players, because their head coach and their general manager know you have a 3-year window. When your quarterback gets paid, it's diminishing returns. And they're going to get paid. These guys are going to get paid. Either Dallas is going to have to pay Dak Prescott, and there's no money left, and one day C.J. Stroud is going to get paid because nobody in their right mind is going to let that kid walk out the door. He's going to get super rich, and the Texans are going to get worse. Win now.